Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Fatima Technology Wali and I am a lead facilitator in Ryan School or campus. And welcome to another exciting episode. I am your host, Fatima Technology Wali, and today we have a very special guest with us, Paul Bowen. And Paul, it's a pleasure to have you here. And thank you so much for joining us today. And we are very excited to learn about your journey, your life experience, and your insightful, valuable sharing with your audience. Before we being, I want to this. Can you give me an introduction?
Uh, I'm having trouble understanding you. Could you type? Do you want me to introduce myself?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ah, okay. Uh, I am Paul Bowen. I am 81 years old. I live in the city of Denver, which is part of the southwestern United States. It's part of the state called Colorado. Uh, and I am retired. I am married with one wife, two children, and two grandchildren. I I have taught before I retired. I have taught philosophy and other things. I have a PhD from Yale in philosophy, and I have taught at Brown University, University of Cincinnati. That's my introduction.
Great introduction and very good. You are a philosopher, and it's a very good thing. I wish that I want to become a philosopher, but I do not want to this, and I also try my best. So I move to the next question, and my next question is that what inspired you to become a philosopher?
Ah, well, I I got as far as being a freshman in college without really knowing what philosophy was, but I had a chance to take a non-required course. So I looked at the different possibilities and I saw that philosophy was one. And I didn't really know what philosophy was. In fact, I think I had it somewhat confused with psychology, which is different. And but I took it. And then when I went to to the class, I said, "Well, this is really good. I really like it." And in fact, I had a tremendous experience at one point when the professor put up on the board this thing called a truth table. That's a technical term. I won't explain it, but uh, once I grasped the idea of it, it was very inspiring because I realized there were many other possibilities. A truth table is really a very simple thing, but I realized there was a sort of general logical attitude that one could have and that one could reason in a very rigorous way. That's what a truth table does in a very small way. And so I was inspired by that. And I never changed my mind. I might have majored in something else for a short period of time, but I graduated with a degree in philosophy, and then I went on to get higher degrees until I got the PhD from Yale. That's my answer.
Okay, that's good. So my next question is that what is philosophy?
Would you type your question in, please?
Yes, I will write my question, and my question is that what is philosophy?
The sound is not good, and I'm having difficulty understanding you.
I
If you could type your question into the chat, I'm not seeing it there.
I said what is philosophy?
What is philosophy? Okay,
Yes,
good.
yes.
Uh, yes. Well, that's a difficult question because
No, it's not a
philosophers.
difficult question. It's not a difficult question. It's a very simple question, and it's very major question. And I don't know what is philosophy. So this point of view, I ask this question.
Well, I'll try to say what philosophy is by talking about what sort of questions philosophers try to answer. And a lot of the questions that philosophers try to answer are what we call normative questions because they're questions about what should be uh, or what is better than what. And so a sociologist might ask, what are human societies actually like? But a philosopher would ask, uh, what should society be like? What is a good society, or what makes one society better than another? And there are other parts of philosophy, but that's the part that's most relevant to what I'm working on now. So I hope that will do. That's my answer.
Okay, great. So my next question is that how would you define philosophy in simple words?
I thought that's the question I just answered. Philosophy is a very abstract kind of thinking. Uh, it uses a lot of logic to try to find an answer. It's sort of like mathematics in that you just need to think about the subject, and hopefully
Okay.
you'll come up with something worthwhile. But unlike mathematics, philosophy discusses different kinds of questions, like uh, what is the good society, or what is the fundamental reality, what is the meaning of life, that sort of question. That's
Yeah,
my
okay,
answer.
okay. Okay, I understand this point of view. And my next question is that why is philosophy important in today's world?
Could you type your question into the chat, please?
Yes,
I'm having difficulty.
I have already typed. My question is that why is philosophy important in today's world?
I'm not seeing it. Uh, no, maybe I have to say chat. Uh, no, oh, here we are. All right, I see it now. I see it now. Okay, what is?
Okay, okay, no issue, no issue.
So, are you asking how would you define philosophy in simple words,
No,
or have you
I
got?
ask question why is philosophy important in today's world?
Okay, okay, I understand
Okay,
now. I
okay,
didn't
no
see the
issue, no
chat.
issue, no issue.
All right. Yes, well, because the questions that philosophy asks are really the most important questions. I mean, take the one I mentioned. What should society be like? I mean, that's a tremendously important question. And should society, for example, be a democracy, or should it have a strong leader? Uh, should there be freedom of speech or not? Uh, what sort of economic system should a society have? That's part of the question of what society should be like. And philosophy also asks similar questions about the individual's life. What is the good life? What should we strive for in life? Uh, and if you get the wrong answer to that question, then at the end of your life, you may have used all kinds of very sophisticated technology. Uh, but if you haven't understood what you're supposed to be doing, you may just use that technology to do useless things, or even worse, to do bad things. So, in a way, I would say philosophy is the most important uh, domain of knowledge because it asks these very, very important questions. And I think, in a sense, everybody is a philosopher because everybody has to have opinions about these questions. What makes somebody a professional philosopher is that they've studied a lot of what other philosophers have said and they've communicated with other philosophers to discuss these things. But everyone has to have a philosophy, and they do. You can't help it. So that's my answer.
Okay, great. So my next question is that what is the purpose of life according to you?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. That's a philosophical question. Uh, and uh, I think that we have certain abilities, and our purpose is to use our abilities, uh, also to develop our abilities. For example, education develops abilities. You are not born knowing how to play the piano, but if you find a teacher, they can teach you how to do that, and you might end up being a very good piano player. But whatever abilities you may have, and however far they're developed, I think you should use them to make the world a better place than it would otherwise have been, if not for what you have done. And so I think that's the purpose of life, is to do good. I mean, why do bad? But so that's my answer.
Okay, great. And I think that's very good, and we can do this. So I move to the next question, and my next question is that uh, do you think happiness is a choice or a result of circumstances?
Well, I think it's a combination of the two. It's very hard to be happy if horrible things are happening to you, and I it would be rather strange if horrible things happened to you and yet you were happy. I would say there's something wrong with you in that case. Uh, so it's it is as it should be that circumstances can affect our happiness, but we also have some ability to affect our own happiness. One thing is just to behave rationally. And if you behave rationally, things will work out better for you in the long run, I think. And so if you are logical, I think you are more happy. You will be more happy. Uh, I read somewhere that actually 50% of how much happiness you feel comes from your genes. Some people are just born happy, apparently, or not happy. But you have some influence. Uh, and one thing you can do, maybe this is just part of being rational, but you should not be hard on yourself because that just makes you unhappy. And you should recognize that you're basically a good person. And if you make a good faith make the world a better place, uh, and you've studied how this might be done and so on, then you have done the right thing. And so you're entitled to being happy most of the time if circumstances are not terrible. So that's my answer.
Okay, great. So my next question is that how can philosophy help people deal with stress and challenges and depression?
Hmm. Okay. Now, philosophy is not a therapy. What you're saying, helping people to deal with stress and challenge, that's the sort of thing a therapist might do. But philosophy, if you have good philosophy that makes sense out of the world, you're going to be happier because you won't be confused. I mean, you're always confused a little bit, at least. That's what human life is like, but it's very complicated. But I think philosophy can help you to make sense of it all, and this will help you with stress and challenges. But there are other things that are very important. You know, if you be sure to get some good exercise, for example. Uh, that strengthens you, helps you to deal with stress. Some kinds of meditation help you with stress. Those I don't know if that's philosophy, but at least a philosopher could say, well, this is one of the things you could do. So that's my answer.
Okay, great answer. So my next question is that which philosopher has influenced you the most and why? And give me reason.
Well, there's the British philosopher Bertrand Russell. Now he's been dead for a long time, but of course his books still exist. And he was one of the most influential on me when I started to study philosophy. And some of his ideas I don't accept anymore, but I think on the whole he was a good influence. I mean, time goes on and philosophers improve philosophy. So even though Bertrand Russell was a great philosopher, I don't necessarily have to accept everything he says. But some things I admire about him, besides the positions that he took on various issues, one is that he stood up for his principles. Uh, he 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 was opposed to war, and he went to jail because of this. He refused to support the war. I think he refused to become a soldier. And as it happens, I'm opposed to war too. But the important thing here is that he was willing to go to jail and and suffer uh, for the sake of his principles. Another thing that I like about him is that he wrote books. Well, he wrote some books for specialists in philosophy, and they are very technical. You need to study for years to understand these books. But he also wrote books for ordinary people, and you know, books about how to be happy and how to make sense of the world. And and I think that's a good thing. It's great when philosophers talk to other philosophers, but philosophers should also talk to just ordinary people and try to enlighten them. So so I think that's a thing. And then one more thing is maybe this is the same as my first point, but he was politically active. He tried to change the world, especially when he became famous. That gave him a voice that most people don't have, and he used this voice to try to make the world a better world. And I think in a small way he succeeded in doing that. If you look in the course of history, he was a bright light. So I admire him for that. And so I try to do the same thing. I don't just talk to other philosophers. So that's my answer.
Your influence is very great, and I will agree. Your mindset, your things, and everything. Your philosophy is very good. So I move to the next question, and my next question is that how do ethics and morality shape our daily lives? What do you say about this?
Well, uh, I think if you take your ethics and morality seriously, of course it will shape your life because morality says you should do this and you shouldn't do that. So if you take it seriously, you will do this and
Yeah.
not do
Yeah.
that. And
Okay.
so,
I understand.
uh, and so that, of course, is why part of why ethics and morality are so important because if you're really committed to it, I mean, sometimes people just say that they believe in this and they believe in that, but if you look at their actions, it doesn't look like that. But assuming that your actions fit with your ideas, then it's tremendously important. Uh, for example, Bertrand Russell went to jail rather than join the army, and that had a big influence on his life. So uh, I guess they give a guide to behavior. Ethics and morality give a guide behavior. It says you can do this, but don't do that. You should do that, and
Yes,
that's
I
very
would be
important.
should that.
So that's my answer.
Okay, great answer, and you are too much wise. So my next question is that what is your opinion on the impact of AI on human thinking and decision making? What do you say about?
Now the next question in the list is: what is your opinion on the impact of AI on human thinking and decision making? Uh, and well, of course, that's a very difficult question, partly because we're only starting to have artificial intelligence, and we're not sure what to do with it. People have many different opinions about this. Uh, I think it could be good insofar as it increases our ability to solve conceptual problems. Uh, but the actual impact of something like AI is very complicated because it involves economics and the people who control artificial intelligence. That makes them very powerful. And so, if you ask a large language model something, the people who made that large language model has made it certain that you won't get certain kinds of answers from it. Uh, it it is controlled, and like any technology, it can be used for good or for evil. And so, in itself, it's just powerful, but powerful can be used for good or for bad. So, uh, so far, I would say it has been mixed. I have made use of LLMs I say to this, here's something I've written, please criticize it for me. And then I see what it says about it. And to me, that's very useful. Uh, its use in war, however, makes war more terrible and more expensive. So that's not a particularly good thing. So that's my answer.
Okay, you are too much right, and my opinion is that AI impact a very important role in our lives because every a person can ask anything from AI. Am I right? And the time is too much short, so I want to this that please give me a last message to my audience.
Ah, okay. Well, I would urge you to give some thought to philosophy. You don't have to become a philosopher, but these are very important questions that philosophy studies, and it's good to answer these questions in a logical, rational way. And so I would recommend uh, that you do that. And if in the course of it you happen to read a few philosophers, uh, well, that might be helpful. Uh, So, but I would recommend that you make philosophy some part of your life. It may not be a big part, but if you just try to think logically about life and what it's all about, then you are a philosopher. Then you're doing philosophy,
Yes.
and I suggest that you keep a little part of your life for that. So that's my answer.
I you give a great message with my audience, and I want to become a philosopher, and I want to do something special for everyone, and I also practice this that I would be able to read mind every person, but this is my try. So let's see what we have to you too, and thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for
And
having me.
for joining us today. And it has been pleasure speaking with you. Your experience, insights, and advice has been incredibly valuable. So I will see you in the next interview. Nice to meet you. Allah Hafiz.
Okay. Well,
Good.
thank you again for having me.
Okay.
And
Thank you very much
uh,
for joining us today. Yes. Yes. What do you say? Okay. Thank you.